Welcome to the Scattered Fashionista channel. Today I'm going to walk you through how I plan out my days. I always do this in the evening the night before, and I start by creating a time tracker bar across the top of my page. And this is a bar where I can put numbers 1 through 12 twice, unless you go with Army time. And then I can give myself a visual of how I'm going to spend that time that day. After creating the time tracker bar, I look at what I have on tap for the day and divide the bar into sections based on that plan. So generally, I write down what my hopeful sleeping time and waking time is, and my morning routine, times at home where I'm working, times where I'm out of the house working, or times where we're just out of the house as a family. I also add in the date, and I like to make it a little bit fancy. So what I'm going to do here is faux calligraphy. This is calligraphy the fake way. What you do is you just thicken all the downstrokes of your letters, and it makes you look amazing. The pens I'm using in this video are the Pigma Micron 01 for most of my writing. I'm using the 03 for thickening these downstrokes here. The 01 is a 0.25 millimeter line, and the 03 is a 0.35 millimeter line. And I also use these for Zentangle, so it's handy to have them around no matter what I'm doing. You can pick up Pigma Micron pens. They are by Sakura at any art supply store, Michaels, Joann Fabrics, whatever, but you can also get them at Amazon, and I will link to that below. The next thing I do is I add in the weather forecast for the coming day with just a little doodle and the high and the low for the day. The reason I do this is it helps me plan out my activities that aren't set in stone and also plan out what clothes I and my children are going to wear. Then I add in our appointments for the day, and I like to put those at the top of the page because then I can't forget about them as I'm filling in my tasks for the day. I also color code the time tracker bar at the top, so blue is sleep, obviously. I also like to add a little bit of color to my doodles. Here I am using Derwent's watercolor pencils. This is a set of 12 watercolor pencils that come in a tin. I got mine at Michael's, but again, I will link to the Amazon, the ones I found on Amazon as well here. These are fun because you'll see in a minute how I can make it all fancy. Yellow is for my morning routine. Orange is for time away from home with my family. So my kids and I have an appointment that morning. And then green is times that I'm working from home. If I was working away from home by myself, it would be pink, just to clarify that for myself. This is all for myself to give me a visual of what's going on here. And then I use the Artist Loft colored pencil blender from Michael's to blend in the watercolor pencil, just to give it a nice soft look. The benefit of using the time tracker bar is that it shows you how much time you really have that day. Now, on Wednesdays, we are out of the house all morning, so I'm generally pretty tired by the time I get home. I do have 3 hours that I could work before I start teaching that afternoon. Sometimes that ends up being napping time, so I like to plan the rest of my list accordingly. But the time tracker bar is fabulous for knowing what you have time for and not overbooking yourself. Next, I create my task list for the day, starting with things that I do every day. So Instagram post is usually at the top of that list. I also flip back to my weekly spread where it shows that I need to pin and share my blog post. And this week I also need to script a class that I'm teaching this coming Monday night. And then I look at my list from the weekly spread that I talk about in my previous video, and I determine, based on what the time log tells me, what else I think I can squeeze in for the day. And again, Wednesdays are our light day when it comes to working from home because we are so busy both in the morning and then the late afternoon and evening. I try to give myself some space in the afternoon. I also look back at the previous day to see what I have missed and what needs to be carried forward. So I was supposed to text some people on Tuesday, so hopefully I will get to that on Wednesday. But again, knowing how the day will go, I give myself a little grace and I say text I am if you have time. And that wraps up how I do my daily planning. It just takes a few minutes and it helps me start the day ready to go, knowing where I'm going and being productive. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share.